Hey, it's JJ Conway. Now, look, if you're watching this on YouTube, don't forget to like, subscribe, share with a friend, okay? Because that's what helps me come up more often when people search for money help. So I really appreciate you doing that. Like, subscribe, share on your Facebook, LinkedIn, social media, anywhere where you think people are going to want to need help and you don't want them to get sucked into scams, all right? Today, we're going to talk about a really surprising way for you to shift into wealth building mode without getting a new job or selling off everything that you own. Not saying those won't help, right? But I'm a big fan of working with what you got instead of getting angry or discouraged at what you don't got. The first thing I want you to do now, if you haven't already done it, if you didn't already do it with the last video, is to make your reverse spend plan. You're going to list out what you spent in various categories last month. Even better if you can do it for 2 months. You can download two of my most popular spend plans for free at jjclink.com/spend plan. And you can use whichever way is easiest for you with one of those or not, even if it's just a pen and paper or pencil on paper. It's not important to be perfect. It's more important to get it done than to be perfect. So now look, if you've got a lot of transactions, you've got like 1,000 transactions that are like $3.45 for gum and $15.98 for groceries, right? You don't have to make it exact. You can round up. Now look, notice what I said. I said round up, not down. So in math, 345 would round down to 3, right? But see, if we were all good at math, we probably wouldn't be here. We wouldn't be in debt and we wouldn't need someone to help us with our money, right? Now would we? Okay, so we're gonna round. So if you are one of those folks who's just like either too busy or too overwhelmed, or it's just makes your head hurt to try to calculate everything specifically, just round it so you can do really quick math, okay? This is not the be all end all. This is the reverse look spend plan that lets us see what we've been doing. And we're rounding everything up so we don't accidentally underestimate everything. All right. Now, look, I'm a big fan of being exact, but if you and your partner, like if you have, if you have a partner, if y'all are free spirits and the day-to-day budgeting is a chore, use rounding to make it easier. Just don't do what one of my clients did. Like, now, but JJ, I didn't mean to overspend. It's just that I always round up, so I knew I had extra in the account. No, no, they didn't. They had a little bit of extra, but in their mind, they had a whole lot of extra. And guess what the bank said? No, you don't. This is just a planning exercise. Eventually, we are going to want to write it properly in our bank book or look at every bank statement and balance our accounts to the penny. And I'm going to show you how to do that easy peasy. But that's not what this exercise is for. For now, I want you to chart what you spent, and rounding up can be a quick, low stress way to do it. Now, if this is daunting, don't worry. You can bring your bank statements and your credit cards to the next group coaching session, and I can help you work through it. You might want to bring a couple different color highlighters or color pencils too if you're visually motivated. Now, the reason that this is my first exercise is because many of us don't know where we really are. We have an idea in our head, right? And we think we did XYZ, but we actually did ABC. And if you're like me, that first decision or that first conversation, that's what gets stuck in my head. And so unless I'm the one that changes the plan changes off to go in one ear and out the other unless I write it down or put it in my calendar. And I don't want to be that way. I'll be the person that has it all together, right? But sometimes we're not in certain areas. We're amazing in this area. We're just, we struggle over here. So sometimes I sit down to pay the bills and, oh man, I need to move money from one account to the bills account. And I go in there and what is this? There's a random charge I don't recognize. So now I got to call the bank. And then I unlock my phone to call the bank. And then I see a text from my girlfriend. I better respond to that real quick, right? And it's only going to take a moment. And one thing leads to another. And in my mind, I think I paid that bill because that's what I set out to do. But the next thing I know is 3 weeks later, and I get a late charge because I never looped back and actually paid it. Here's another one. We think we only bought one outfit because that's what we budgeted for, and that's all we went to the checkout with. But then you know how they have that long loop where you're like enticed with all the impulse shopping things. So you try to get through the checkout, and it's almost like an attack, right? Like they're putting out new arrivals. And woo, wait, won't that top match the pants we just bought? And the next thing you know, you've gone back to the fitting room. Those pants are still there, and we try them on with the new top, and ooh, we look amazing. And I think I saw a jacket over there and two other tops over here. Yeah, we justify it, don't we? And I mean, come on, I'm not just buying an outfit, I'm investing in a wardrobe. Mm, mm, mm. I'm such a great shopper. Y'all, this is going to save me money in the long run. Ooh, I feel so good about that. And then the next thing we know, our household is about to kick off World War III because we done spent $400 thinking we only spent 50. Now, come on, I know I am not the only one who's done this, right? So then you ask me, JJ, what are you willing to let go of so you can attain the higher value of financial freedom, right? And in my mind, because $50 a month is budgeted for clothes, never mind the fact that I just had a $400 wardrobe investment blip or something like that every month for the last 3 months, my mind still thinks I'm only spending 50. And I tell you, nothing. There's nothing more I can do. Do you know how hard it is to get a new speaking outfit for $50 each month? This is how I make my money. I have to have new outfits. I'm already operating on a bare bones spend plan. No, you're not operating on a bare bones spend plan. You just feel like you are. You feel like you are because that's what you said you were going to do. And you're a person of integrity and you're a leader. You do what you say, only you don't. We believe we do because we justify it as that was just this month. I'll be on track next month. Except you aren't because something else comes up. And it's always going to come up unless we stop lying to ourselves about our self expression of money. You do realize that's what overspending is, right? It's self expression. It's very rare that someone comes to me who doesn't make enough money to fix their financial mess. I have financially independent clients who are living on $400, $600, $700 a month when we met with steep debt. And 5 years later, fixed income, disability, social security, whatever is enough that they never have to worry again because they weren't afraid to face the past and they weren't afraid to climb those 7 steps to abundance. When we can, no kidding, face our financial past, now we can begin to craft our financial future. See, if you think that your goal is to get up here, millionaire, right? And you feel like you're starting up here, um, if you feel like you're starting up here, but you're actually starting down here, no plan. No plan that I can help you develop is actually going to work because you don't need a plan to go from up here over. You need a plan to go from here up and over or up and over, right? Nothing I develop you while you still think you're up here is going to work. That doesn't mean now that we don't dream big. I absolutely want you to dream big. It's just that while you're dreaming, I want you to keep paying attention to what you actually spent so I can help you achieve your goals. So, what do I mean by dream big? Bob Proctor taught me about 3 types of goals. A-type goals are the things you know you can do. Although 75% of the world does not have running water or electricity, most of us watching me today have access to both, right? And so for you to say every morning I'm going to brush my teeth, that's a no-brainer. I mean, I don't want you to have that goal. I do want you to brush your teeth every morning. Yes, do that. But that's not a goal that's actually going to move the needle forward in your life because there's no change of energy with that for most of us. Okay, so while I'm a teenager, we are still working on this. B-type goals are the kind of goals that you think you can do. An A-type goal, brush my teeth every morning, you know you can do it. B-type goals are the kind of goals that you think you can do with just a little time, little education, little knowledge. Look at it on YouTube, maybe a little friend's help, getting some extra supplies. You know you can do it if you just got an extra supply. You know you can do it if you just went to the Home Depot or the Lowe's and got yourself a new power tool. Things like that, right? So if I'm a good cook, cooking a special dinner for my husband might be a type A goal. If I'm an average cook, cooking a special dinner could be a B type goal because I know if I find the right recipe and actually follow it, I'll get a good result. Or I know how to pick up the phone and dial a friend who does meal prep and pop it in the oven. I still cooked it, you know. It's like weave. Oh, that's not your hair. Oh, yes, it is. I paid for it. It's mine. B type goals do shift our energy slightly, but not enough for lasting change because it didn't take much energetic effort. Now, it might took us some time effort, it might have took some relationship effort, but it doesn't take much energetic effort. Nothing's really different about my life because I finally followed the recipe, or I finally stopped being so cheap and ordered the meal prep. That was extra effort, not new energy. The C type goal is something that you don't know how it's going to get done. You can't see it. You don't see how. You don't know if this is even really the Lord speaking to you. You wonder if you're crazy. And if you have a family like mine, everybody around you is telling you you're crazy. It's crazy. Who do you think you are? Come off your high horse. You don't know how it's going to happen. All you know is what's on your heart. You don't know where the money's going to come from. You just know that this is what you're supposed to be doing. So in this program, I want you to set C-type goals. These are the kind of goals that shift your energy. They're new and scary, and that's exactly the kind of thing that creates energetic change in your subconscious. Now, I'm not a psychologist, okay? I'm not a neurologist, and I am a student of human behavior in the brain. I've been studying the brain since 7 years ago when the car accident ended my military career, and the neurologist told me I had 5 to 10 years left before my brain was gone. He gave me all these long, scary diagnoses and told the Air Force to send me home. And I was like, what am I supposed to do? I can't work with all these issues. How are you going to help me get better? His response, you're not going to get better. Go home, play with your kids, and enjoy them while you still have enough brain left to remember who they are. So I'm not medical. I'm not a counselor, but I've learned a lot about the brain to help me beat the odds to be a best-selling author of 13 books, number 14 on the way, run an international company helping women win with money. And that's 7 years after he told me I only had 5 to 10 left. And the key to shifting your brain from getting the results that you're getting today is C-type goals. It's key. You have to give your subconscious a challenge to believe in. You have to walk in the energy of something so powerful and so new that it begins to drown out the voices that tell you it's impossible. The very fact that it's impossible for you right now is what makes this so powerful. With man, it's impossible. With God, all things are possible. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. I mean, well, all things except that. I mean, I could never open up my own business. I mean, I could never get out of debt. I could never build up enough passive income so that I don't have to work and could spend time with my family, having fun with the ministry or traveling or oh, I could never do that. Of course you can. I mean, you could, but I can't. JJ, you don't know my story. You don't know what I've been through. Hey, guess what? It doesn't matter what you've been through. Your story and the things that happen to you don't change the fact that the only one who can make your life better is you. And you might be surprised, your story is exactly what will open up doors for you to become financially independent faster and cheaper than you think. You know, every once in a while, I meet someone who did all the right things. They never got into debt. They never overspent. They never liquidated their entire portfolio of investments for some smooth talking man because they loved him. Don't do that. Ask me later how I know. They never did any of those things. And their businesses, their coaching typically sounds something like be like me, do like I did, and you'll be amazing and perfect. Except they're miserable and nobody wants to work with them. Most of us, we live real lives. We care about others. We help people. We give to our churches and charities, even though it's not profitable. We like to see our kids' eyes light up when we bring them a gift. Yeah, that money could have gone to something else, but did you see how happy my child was? We know our parents worked hard to put us through school, and so of course, when they need something, we gonna get it for them. Those are normal human emotions. And nothing's wrong with being the vibrant, caring person that you were created to be until we become trapped. Until every time we take care of mama, now our car isn't fixed. We give to the church over and above our tithes, and it seems like they fellowship our offerings away, but we barely have enough to eat. Our kids light up, but it's only a matter of time before they get sucked back into their phones and forget all about the thing we spent so much money on. And then we feel so bad we buy them something else just to get that feeling back. Or we buy something so we don't have to acknowledge how we're hurting over the last breakup, or how we feel like a failure getting fired from our job, or the disappointment that no matter how much we work on our weight is just going to keep going up while our coworker over there eats everything and never works out and just gets thinner and thinner. Over time, we forget that with God, all things are possible because we're not seeing those possibilities in our lives right now. That's why it's so important to set C-type goals. C-type goals give our subconscious something exciting and new to embrace. Now, I will warn you, at first, your subconscious rejects C-type goals. I mean, after all, the job of your subconscious is to keep you safe and expend as little bodily effort as possible. Its job is to handle the heavy lifting of sifting through hundreds and thousands of information that we take in every day, and it just gives to your conscious mind what you really need. This is why you never see an orange car until you decide you might like to buy an orange car. Then suddenly you see them everywhere. I decided I wanted a Jeep, never saw one in my town. Now I see them everywhere. Jeep wasn't important to my psyche back before I rented one and fell in love with it. So my subconscious filtered it out. She doesn't need that information. She's got other things to think about. Now I love my new car, and it's funny because now that I have a Mazda, I see Mazdas everywhere. But in 2 years, I'm probably going to swap it out for a Jeep. And I see them everywhere. That's the subconscious doing its job. I told the subconscious this was important to me, and it allowed that information to bubble up. What are you telling your subconscious is important to you? Some of us are telling our subconscious that what's important to us is to send information about us not being good enough, us not being worthy, about us not being able, about us not being the right fit, about us being an imposter. And the more we tell our subconscious those things, the more it allows the information that reinforces them to bubble up to our awareness. Another job of the subconscious is to help you conserve calories so you can run from the next bear you come across, right? Now you might see this when you start a new fitness program. It's like your subconscious says, "Oh, we've seen this before. She gonna give up these workouts in about 3 weeks, and then by then she's gonna be so sore she can hardly move, and she's gonna starve herself for 3 weeks, and that's gonna make our body weak, and she's gonna spend all this money on fitness equipment that we don't really need to." So subconscious decides we gonna cut this off at the pass. So when you've been waking up at 4 a.m. and couldn't go back to sleep in the past, now all of a sudden the alarm goes off for the gym at 5. You hit snooze like 20 times. Those candy dishes at work have always been there, but now all of a sudden you're seeing them and craving candy for the first time. Some of us, I'll tell you how this relates to finances. Some of us, we grew up in poverty. And every time we've tried to get out, either something happened or we self sabotage. And it's usually because our subconscious just cannot conceive of anything actually changing. Remember, it's trying to protect you. And one of the things it's trying to protect you from is the great unknown. Your subconscious likes everything to stay the way it is, nice and safe. It doesn't like change. It's like your subconscious is wearing a poopy diaper and refuses to let you change it. Why? Because it's warm and it's mine. And here's the kicker. You can't force your subconscious to change. You can't force it to let go of the mean things people said to you and about you. You can't force it to ignore the hurts of your past. The two most powerful ways you have of changing your subconscious is through strong, detailed emotion and with autosuggestion. And if you stick with me long enough, I'm actually going to walk you through a detailed process for this. But for now, in this welcome series, here's what I want you to do. I want you to write out a C-type goal. On my campus, we always start out our C-type goals with "I'm so happy and grateful now that I." And then you add what it is to it you really feel called to do. Now, this could be anything, okay? It really could be anything. But because you're in my financial coaching program, I'd like you to include a financial goal. You don't have to, because we're not all called to build wealth, but it's easier to measure a financial goal than to say, "I want to help children all over my city." Even if it's a help the poor type of goal, you can still add something measurable, such as "I coach 10 kids a month" or "I serve 50 homeless a week." In my Purpose Vision Goals workshop, which I do once or twice a year, I'm going to ask you to time bind and really expand on your C-type goal. But for now, let's just make it simple. You could do a debt-free goal or maybe an income goal. Did you know that most of us can get out of debt if we hustle really hard in about 1 to 2 years? Maybe three for the extreme cases. So I'd like it to be something that you can achieve over the next year. It doesn't have to be, but that would be so much easier to track. And really think about, what do you want? What do you really want to achieve financially? Everybody says, I want to be a millionaire next week, but do you really need to be a millionaire? Do you really need to be a Do you really want to be a millionaire? Or is what you need in your life right now some breathing room, so that when the check engine light comes on, you don't have a panic attack? So that when the hot water heater breaks, you can fix it. I remember boiling water on my stove to wash dishes with. I didn't need $1 million back then. Even 1,000 extra a month would have given me peace of mind. An extra 2,000 a month would have let me fix the water heater and repair the hole in the floor that my son thought was fun to dig in the dirt, and hire someone to cut the yard so I didn't have to come home exhausted from work and worry about that too. If being a millionaire by this time next year is what's on your heart, write that down. But if what you're really looking for is some peace and some breathing room, maybe try something smaller just for now. So maybe you could try something like, I'm so happy and grateful now that I'm debt free. Or I'm so happy and grateful now that I make $20,000 each month. And you could also make it more complicated. This is a you do you kind of boo thing. I mean, this is a you do you boo kind of thing. There's no right or wrong answer, as long as it's a big goal that scares you a bit and you're not sure how you're going to get there, but not so unreasonable that you don't think it will ever happen. And you start off with, I'm so happy and grateful now that I. Now, I'll explain why that opening statement is important later, but for now, just trust me. That clause will accelerate your wealth building. So you're going to write that C-type goal, and then you're going to put it somewhere where you will see it at least every morning and night, preferably more often than that. And that's it. That's it for this video. That's it for this time. And I say that's it, but actually that's a lot, isn't it? If you do it, you will be surprised at the impact. Keep working on your reverse spend plan. Craft your C-type goal. Remember, it's more important to get it done than to make it perfect. Next time, we'll talk about the #1 key to independent wealth. Now, if you're like me and you like to binge watch everything, you don't have to wait till the next video drops. You can actually go to my YouTube channel, JJ Knows the Way, and click the playlist Coaching Welcome. It'll have these 21 days of videos plus a few bonuses, such as a special welcome for those who don't share my faith, or help I can't pay my bills, or why your hard work hasn't paid off. Okay. That's all I've got for you in this video. I'm JJ Conway. Thank you for being with me today. Y'all take care and be blessed.